Dirty dancing in my room.
What's going on, everybody? So for those of you who do not know who I am Jaren, voice teacher, speech trainer, and the founder and owner of this studio, the Jaren M. LeGray Studio, and I am excited about this video. This is somewhat of an impromptu taping. I wasn't planning on doing this, but I saw this concert and I said, I have to say something about what's going on here because there's so many wonderful things musically, acoustically that she is doing, and I'm excited to get to it, y'all. We're talking about Yebba at the Tiny Desk concert. It is so good. So y'all, let's cut right to the chase. Here is Yebba singing Distance at the Tiny Desk concert. Wow, there's so many wonderful things happening already. So let's talk about the intro with Yebba real quick. Then we'll talk about these background singers because I want to get to them very quickly. So Yebba, she is using a lot of warmth in the mouth. If you notice, her lips are slightly puckered. Her jaw is actually in play too. She says, sing it, oh yeah, yeah. And if you notice, if you look at the side, her profile, notice that jaw was extended forward just a little bit and the lips were puckered. Sing it, oh yeah, yeah. So I think that is giving some warmth and some depth to her sound that I don't know if I've ever heard her do before. I feel like she has evolved as an artist, and I feel like it's being exemplified in this concert, which is why I wanted to talk about this concert so bad, at least this song, because she's doing so many cool things with her voice. I really feel like an evolution has taken place here. And these background singers, shout outs to them. Their movements, even here you can tell they have rehearsed and really fine-tuned what they wanted to do. Their movements are very in sync with each other and very succinct. Even the runs that they were just doing there at the beginning, they almost moved exactly at the same time. That shows you the level of skill and discipline to execute this song in such a way where it sounds so together and so cohesive with the sound that Yebba's looking for. They're giving us such great vocals in this concert. You can tell that they have rehearsed, they are skilled individually and collectively, and you can just tell everything is very cohesive within the music, within Yebba, within the background singers. Everything is cohesive and very together.
Take me back to the distance. Oh yeah, late night cooking in the kitchen.
I love that line after "Take Me Back to the Distance." Oh yeah, yeah. Right there, that line right there, that little lick. She went from a chest voice, more of a thicker fold, flipped into a headier spot, like a head voice, thinner fold, that came back down. Very intentional, very on purpose. I like how she's using all of her registers. Don't be afraid to use your registers to your advantage. It's all one voice. It's all one big voice. Don't feel like you have to sing a chest voice the whole time, and if you get a head voice, you're gonna cheat. No, she's really using the acoustic nature of this concert to her advantage, and it's really being executed excellently.
Dirty dancing in my room, and sending my love all over you. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
There is some added color to her voice, some added texture to her voice. Now, this just may be how the mic is mixed in the sound, but I feel like there is a little more nasality, a dropped velum, the soft palate. When you drop that soft palate, air can pass through your nose and sound travels through air. So you can essentially let sound travel through your nose, so to speak, you know? So I feel like that palette is dropped just a little bit, not all the way, but just a little bit. So it's giving somewhat of a muted, warm sound that I think is so cool that I've never heard her do before. I feel like she's kind of been a little more brighter in past times that I've heard her sing, but I feel like here everything's staying very warm, and I feel like it gives layers to the acoustic nature of this concert. So I feel like there is almost a dropped velum, and there's there's almost a rounded lip or more of a neutralized articulation. It's not so much bright, but it's not really puckered and things like that. It's more so kind of somewhere in the middle. And I feel like between the neutralized articulation and the dropped velum, there's a warm nature, a warm aesthetic to her sound that I really think fits what's going on, you know, in the concert.
Because of the time we shared, time we lost in love with one another.
I like that she's using her R colors, her R phonemes, because of the time we shared. Some people may have said because of the time we shared, which is fine. But I like that she wants the R colors in her articulation, in her presentation. Because some people try to take those R colors out, the phoneme R. They would try to take that color out for whatever reason. And sometimes the R color can get in the way vocally depending on what note we're singing or where we're singing it at. But I feel like here, I love it. So if you add the slightly dropped velum, a slightly neutralized articulation, and the R color, because of the time we shared, you hear how that's warm, but it still has some clarity to it. I really feel like she is using all of her vocal apparatus so intentionally and so excellently to where you get this warm, rich, full sound from her. I think it's great.
Days we had pay the cost of losing heart's desire. So very soon I'll be sending my love all over.
Instead of I'll be sending my love all over. So those lips are still kind of neutralized, maybe a little bit of pucker in there. That jaw is being used, extending forward a little bit. Sending my love all over. So it's really giving that color that I keep talking about that she's doing so well. Did you see that you? It wasn't you. It was you. You still hear the word you as in Y-O-U, but it was neutralized. I keep talking about this neutral articulation with her. I feel like this is so cool and so well thought out even. Just using the warmth of her voice to really exude this song so well.
So lost in the feeling.
And I also like the color change of her head voice to chest voice. I still get so lost in the feeling. She went a little more bright articulatory wise. I still get so lost in. Then when she came back down, it got back warm. The feeling. Okay, so she got back that pucker, that kind of the neutralized articulation. And like I said, the color change between her two registers right here, to me, is beautiful. I love hearing different parts of one's voice. It just gives more for the ear to listen to, you know, and I really think she does it so well.
And I can't imagine ever losing you, baby.
So that you, it was you, ever losing you. Even though we can't see her, you can tell that you was different than that first you I've talked about. You. There's probably a little teeth in there, probably a little smile in the lips area, if you will. You. So it gave a more brighter, a little more churchier version of the word you, versus the first one was kind of warm with depth, but still hollow in nature. Did you notice that? Oh. So her articulation changed. She went from as she migrated through that run, that ascending run, which is very hard to do. Ascending runs are not easy. So she really placed it so well, and she really used her articulation, her resonance to help her navigate that upwards, that ascending run right there. And I think the more brighter placement of the top O is really helping her to get to that note a little more efficiently than keeping everything dark like she did at the bottom. If she kept it dark, it'd kind of be like, it's doable, but I feel like the color change really fits the song more, you know?
For someone special to hold on to, I wonder if I would do, yeah, because of the time we shared, time we lost in love with one another.
I love these straight notes and these glissandos or these throws. Time we had, time we shared and lost. And I'm probably saying the wrong line, but you know what I'm saying. Time we lost in one another. So she's really throwing the voice and doing some slides, if you will, or glissandos, or whatever you want to call them, and it's really coloring the song very well. And she's kind of having more of a bright articulation here. It's not as dark as it was at the beginning, a little more brighter, and you can hear the word time. Time. It wasn't time. Time. So it's almost time instead of time, right? So you can change little things like that and really make a song completely different, or the words completely different in texture versus saying the songs more so like how you speak. If you want to change the articulatory pattern of how you're saying these words, it can give a whole new different attitude to a song. And I feel like once again what she's doing is fitting this concert in this song so well.
Pay the cost of losing heart's desire so soon. I'll be sending my love all over you. So take me back to the distance. Oh yeah, late night cooking in the kitchen.
I love that kitchen. She changed her articulation as she went down through that last syllable of kitchen. It got warmer as she went down. And I love this call and response. It's very churchy. This dance, yeah, you know, all that stuff. Like that call and response is church. Just so we're clear. And I love that she's doing that here. And the backup singers are following her excellently with the little run up that she did and everything that she was kind of throwing at them. They followed so well. Hear that second kitchen, and she also switched registers, I believe. Kitchen. So you see, she kind of went more chesty. They kind of went to more of a headier spot, maybe like a lighter belt to like a headier spot right there on that last note of kitchen, right? So each kitchen was different in articulation and in resonance slightly, and those minor changes can make huge differences when you're singing.
Dirty dancing in my room.
In my room, not in my room. In my room. Not my. So like I said, we're a little brighter now. In my room. And it was spread. It was a little more forward instead of kind of warm and dark. It was kind of bright and forward there. And that was low-key church too. I personally hear some influences, and I may be wrong, but I hear some influences from like Aretha Franklin, the Clark sisters. I really feel like she has listened to them, and some of this articulatory stuff, it's very similar to Aretha and the Clark sisters and other people who sing like that. You know, because I know the Clark sisters and Aretha sing very similarly as well. And I feel like she is exuding some of their habits, if you will, when she sings, you know, stuff like this.
Love the things you do when
all the things, not things, things, all the things you do. So like I said, all this is forward, a little more spread, a little more twangy, has a little drawl to it, things, instead of things. The word is things, but she said things, had a little nasality in there, things, okay?
sending all of my love to you, baby. I'll be sending my love all over. I'll be sending all my love all over. I'll be sending all.
I feel like I'm in church a little bit with how she's singing this ending part right here, you know, with kind of the ad-libby vamp type thing that she's doing right here. And that run had a little run down, then the glottal stop, and then it came back in. Had that glottal stop. So she really is using her voice even to really shape this stuff musically, and using glottal stops, using aspirate things and all those other things to really help color what we hear her doing musically and vocally.
Sending all my love, sending my love all over. I'll be sending all my.
And I like that last sending all my, had a little breath, the aspiration I was talking about, the aspirate offset, sending all my, right there.
Sending my love all over you.
Yebba. Lift your hand in this room. I'm just that head voice run. I love how she shaped that. It still stayed very round. Ooh, it didn't do. It did a little bit at the end, kind of a little more spread at the end, because acoustically you need more space to sing higher notes. So she probably got a little more wider as she went up, but then she transitioned down to that chest voice so effortlessly and really placed it where she wanted it to be placed. A lot of times people come to me and say, oh my gosh, I want to work on my transition, I want to work on my break, I want to work on my passaggio. I think one of the issues with passagios and breaks is that people don't know how to intentionally switch between the two. I feel like if you know how to intentionally switch between the two, you will understand what you want to do and have more physical control of your voice. So then your transition is not so much of a, I don't know when I want to switch. You'll say, I want to switch here, so I'm going to switch here. You know, so sometimes when my clients come to me and say, I want to work on my break, my transition, let's be certain that you know how to flip between the two intentionally, okay? So if you're working on transitions or breaks, make sure you understand how to intentionally switch between the two and knowing when to switch between the two. Now, if they're going to sound different because the vocal fold mass vibration, if you will, physically changes. So you're going to have a color change between the two registers. Don't fret. That's normal. That's normal. Just don't feel like you have to give all of your intensity to chest voice or head voice. Just sing supported and be intentional with your transition, with your switch. And that should help alleviate some of that problem of my break is too stark, my break is too hard, I want to work on my break. That should alleviate some of that, hopefully. Hopefully.
My love all over you, over you, over. Sending my love all over you.
Do you see her jaw? Over you. It was extended again. Over you. And that S on sending, sending. It wasn't sending. It was a warm articulatory pattern. Sending my love all over you. So everything was still warm, puckered. The S was warm, and the jaw extended just a little bit, okay?
Over you, over.
I enjoyed this video and this whole concert. So if you enjoyed this analysis, click subscribe down below, then click the alert button next to it so you know when the next video is posted. And as I always say, be vocally bold, creative, and aware, but most of all, be vocally you. All right, y'all. See y'all soon.